We're delighted for our next segment. We introduce the new conductor for the Elgin Symphony Orchestra. And Chad Goodman, congratulations on your new job.
Thank you so much. It's such an honor to be joining this community, to be working with this orchestra.
You loved Elgin. You actually did the final concert of the year, May 6 and 7. Also, early in the year, you came for a look-see at Elgin, didn't you?
Absolutely. I knew once I had this invitation to come conduct as a candidate that I wanted to get to know the community better and hear the orchestra. So I snuck up here, so to speak, came up, heard the season opening concert, and was just blown away by the orchestra. But on top of that, it was just everywhere I was going, the restaurants I was eating at, coffee shops, people that I was just meeting, I was just taken aback by how kind, how warm everyone was. It was such an inviting community, and then I just had to impatiently wait for 7 months before I got to come back here to conduct the orchestra and work with them in May.
That's a great story. Rhapsody in Blue was what you performed there.
Absolutely. Rhapsody in Blue with an incredible soloist, Drew Peterson, and Beethoven's Seventh Symphony. It was phenomenal.
You mentioned it, but you got along so well, 80 members in the orchestra, and right off the bat, you got together.
Yeah, I always like to describe the first rehearsal with an orchestra as speed dating or something with 80 people at once. It's you have to figure out, how do we like to be spoken to? What are you offering here musically that I can bounce off of, and what can I share with you? And so you have to try and build this rapport very quickly, and you know it's right when it's right. And from the very start of that first rehearsal, we just had this really, really great connection.
Those are great stories. You're a natural. How did it come to your mind to be a conductor?
So actually, it was not something that I had thought of when I was younger. You often hear these stories where conductors were, setting up stuffed animals in their childhood bedrooms and they're conducting them. And I wanted to be an orchestral trumpet player. And actually, I started in jazz. So it was just trumpet was my life. And I went to the conservatory for my bachelor's, and I even studied in grad school trumpet. And it was while I was there that one of the conducting professors pulled me aside and he said, I love what you do on trumpet, and I love all these conversations we have about music. I just have a feeling you would make a great conductor. Can I mentor you? Can I just give you lessons?
Who did you look to trumpet-wise over the years?
Oh, my goodness. Yeah, from the jazz world, Chet Baker was my idol, absolute idol. Louis Armstrong, of course, Clifford Brown. And then in the classical world, it was all the leaders here. It was Bud Herseth, principal trumpet, of course, for decades with Chicago Symphony, Philip Smith with New York Philharmonic. So I had a lot of inspiration just musically, and it all naturally, it channels into who you become as a conductor. Having that background on an instrument has a profound impact on how I am able to lead and relate to the musicians I'm working with on stage.
You're such a young man at age 33. Where were you raised?
I was raised in Baltimore. Yeah.
Any good Baltimore stories for us? Orioles?
They broke my heart for many years, but they were doing amazing work. But I grew up in the era of Cal Ripken, so there was a lot of joy, and I spent a lot of time with my dad and my brother going to the O's games during those early years, and I will always root for the O's, so that's very special.
Did you realize Babe Ruth was, his tavern was in center field? His dad's tavern?
Yeah.
How is that possible? Give me a cold one. I'm in center field, Babe Ruth's dad said. How did they decide to build it right there? It was a good question.
Yeah, I don't know.
It was a tavern, and that's quite a story. That's a whole different segment we'll have. Now, as we talk, you tell us a little bit about your background. Most recently, you've been working in Miami and San Francisco.
Yes, from 2019 until this past May 2023, I was the conducting fellow and assistant at the New World Symphony in Miami, working with the great Michael Tilson Thomas, who was a co-founder there, and it's just an extraordinary institution. And alongside that, I've been working as an assistant conductor with the San Francisco Symphony. So I've been able to find inspiration from so many people, all over the country, and it's really had a big impact on everything that I feel like I'm bringing in when I'm making music with others.
Great.
Yeah.
And here, everybody in the office loves you.
I feel a great connection. It really is. There's so many things about this position here that just, it felt like it was meant to be. You can't really put words on it, but I feel like such a symbiotic relationship with the community, with the staff here, the board, and with, of course, the musicians. It's been really spectacular.
We've signed you up for a 15-year contract. Is that correct? You're young.
I would be very happy with that, but just thrilled to get started on this right now.
You have written a book, is that right?
That is correct. Yeah, I wrote a book on the music business and basically giving advice to young musicians on how to transition from studying music at university opportunity to making a living. How do you freelance? How do you start getting your first gigs? How do you find students to teach? And it's not something that's taught all of the time, and you have to just sort of learn that on your own. And so I wanted to sort of share that with the next generation.
That's great. Well, you've got great energy level, and you're a charming man, so we appreciate you picking out Elgin and being your spot.
It's a privilege. I can't wait to be a member of this community and start working again with this orchestra.
The season, the 74th season, opens in October, is that right?
Exactly.
What's going to be on the dossier that night?
It's going to be extraordinary. We're opening with Mozart's Overture to the Magic Flute, and then we're going into Strauss's gorgeous romantic four last songs. We have Christine Brewer as our vocal soloist. She was just a powerhouse, legendary, sang at the Met for
Really?
years and years, so we're so lucky to have her, just superstar status. And we're closing with Rachmaninoff's Symphonic Dances, which is just, it will pull at heartstrings, I promise you that. It's going to be a great set of concerts.
That was exactly the summer show we had planned here.
Yeah.
No, you're a charming man. Congratulations. We're delighted you chose Elgin and the Symphony Orchestra here.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Chad Goodman, we appreciate you being aboard.